If other people could hear the way you talk to yourself, would you still call it just thinking? You don't see it. You don't post it. You don't tell anyone about it. But there is a constant voice in your head that judges you, doubts you, and quietly convinces you that you are less than you really are. That voice tells you you're too late, too behind, too broken, too ordinary. You call it being realistic. But in reality, it's a slow form of self-destruction. Negative thinking does not scream. It whispers. It doesn't attack you all at once. It shows up in small sentences. I can't. I always mess this up. People like me never win. And thought by thought, it rewires your identity, lowers your standards, and convinces you to live a smaller life than the one you were built for. This audiobook is not here to give you a few positive quotes and send you back into the same mental prison. This is not about pretending everything is fine. This is about killing the patterns of thought that have been killing your confidence, your focus, and your future. Tonight, as you listen, we are going to walk straight into the core of your negative thinking, where it came from, why your brain keeps repeating it, how it hides inside your habits, your reactions, and your identity, and how to finally break it, quietly but permanently. You are not just going to think positive for a few minutes and then forget. You are going to retrain your mind. You are going to rebuild your self-image. You are going to learn how to choose thoughts that build you, not destroy you. As you lie down, let your body relax. Let your breathing slow. You don't have to fight anything right now. You just have to listen. Because while the world is loud, this is where you get quiet. While everyone else is scrolling and comparing and overthinking, this is where you rewrite the story that runs inside your head. Your mind has been programmed by past pain, old voices, and borrowed limits. But it is not permanent. It is not fixed. And it is not stronger than your decision to change. Tonight, we begin a different kind of work. Inner work. Silent work. The work that no one else sees. But everyone will feel in your presence later. If you are ready, really ready, to stop letting negative thinking run your life, then close the door on the noise. Turn your attention inward and come with me. We are going to kill the thoughts that keep killing your potential, and step by step, thought by thought, we are going to build a mind that finally starts working for you, not against you. There is a war happening inside you every single day, not on the outside, not in your job, your relationships, or your circumstances. It is a war waged in silence, inside your mind. Most people never realize this. They think their stress comes from the world. They think their lack of confidence comes from reality. They think their fear is logical. But in truth, your thoughts are the battlefield. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. Inside your mind, there is a dark hallway. Shadows move quietly, whispering sentences you never chose. You're not good enough. You always fail. People like you don't succeed. What's the point of trying? Again, you do not speak these words aloud. You rarely even notice them. But they shape you. They determine how big you allow yourself to dream. They determine how small you are willing to live. This war is silent because negative thinking does not scream. It does not announce itself. It lives like fog spreading through the corners of your mind, blurring your vision, so you forget what you once believed was possible. That is why the first skill before discipline, before goals, before action is awareness. To win the war inside, you must first see it. The enemy is not you. Many people believe negative thoughts are themselves. They think, if I hear the thought, it must be true. But the voice of fear is not your voice. It is a shadow, a leftover echo of your past, of a time you were small, unprotected, unseen. It is a memory of every moment you were criticized. Every time someone made you feel less than you are. Your mind stores pain like a scar, and when life gets uncertain, the old thoughts return like ghosts. What most people never learn is this: negative thoughts are not facts. They are simply suggestions generated by a brain trained by old experiences. If the brain learned fear, it whispers fear. If it learned shame, it whispers shame. If it learned power, it whispers strength. And that means something extraordinary: your mind can be retrained. Awareness is the first weapon. Picture a soldier walking into battle without knowing an enemy exists. He will lose not because he is weak, but because he never knew he was fighting. That is how people lose the war inside. They never notice their own thoughts. They never hear the whispers. They simply feel the emotions and assume they are reality. Tonight, let us turn on the light. Starting now, you become the watcher, the observer of your mind. Any time a negative thought appears, you will not panic. You will not believe it. You will simply name it. That is a thought, not a truth. This sentence seems simple, but it is a sword. It cuts through illusion. It reminds your nervous system that you choose what enters. The battlefield landscape. To understand the war, you must understand the terrain. Inside your mind, two forces are constantly pulling at your identity. One, the shadow voice born from fear. It says, stay small, stay safe. Don't risk. Don't change. Two, the inner self, born from truth. It says, you are more than your past. You are capable. You are becoming. Negative thinking wins when you forget the second voice exists. Most adults live 98% of their life in the first one, controlled by fear. Habit. Old identity. Not because they want to, but because no one ever taught them the mental skills to take their power back. The cost of losing this war. When you surrender to negative thinking, your life shrinks. Dreams become ideas. Ideas become wishes. Wishes become bitterness. You start to say sentences like, it's too late. Maybe in another life. I wasn't born like them. And slowly the world stops seeing your potential because you stopped seeing it first. Negative thinking is not just harmful, it is destiny rewriting. One belief can alter the entire direction of your life. The thought becomes the feeling. The feeling becomes the action. The action becomes your results. And your results become your identity. If you think small, you will live small. If you think you can, you will rise. Tonight, the shift begins. In this chapter, we are not fixing everything at once. We are doing something more powerful. We are waking you up. Once you see the shadows, they lose power. Once you learn that thoughts are optional, your life becomes chosen, not inherited. Take a slow breath. Feel the air move in. Feel your chest rise. Feel your shoulders soften. Say silently in your mind, not as affirmation, but as a declaration, I am not my negative thoughts. I am the one who chooses what stays. As you move through this audiobook, you will learn weapons, structures, rituals, identity rewiring to kill the shadow voice permanently. But everything begins here. The silent war, the awakening, the moment you stop being the attacked and become the commander of your mind. Rewiring your mind is not a miracle. It is not sudden. It is not dramatic. It is a quiet ritual repeated until it becomes you. In Chapter 1, you discovered that negative thinking is a silent war. A war inside your mind. But here is the truth most people never hear. Knowing you are in a war does not win the battle. Only training does. Only discipline does. Only repetition every single day turns a mind from its enemy into its ally. Your thoughts today are simply the echoes of yesterday's habits. The mind you are living with right now is just a reflection of what you've fed it. Repeated, tolerated, and rehearsed. Which means you are not stuck. You can build a new mind. A stronger one. A quieter one. A mind that works for you, not against you. But a new mind does not arrive through motivation. It arrives through a ritual, not a routine, not a plan. A ritual, something sacred, non-negotiable. Something you do even on the days you don't feel like it. A ritual that becomes identity. Think of the brain as soft clay in the morning. In the first 20 minutes after you wake, your mind is more open than it will be at any other time of the day. Thoughts sink deeper. Emotions stick longer. Identity rewrites faster. But what do most people do? They wake up, reach for their phone, scroll through strangers' lives, compare, react, absorb noise, and before they have even taken one conscious breath, their day belongs to the world, not to themselves. Your new life begins the moment you stop giving your first breath away. Tomorrow morning, before the world touches you, before you touch a screen, before you offer your mind to noise, I want you to reclaim the gate. Sit up slowly. Place your feet on the floor. Take one long breath in and out, and whisper quietly, barely audible, like you are speaking to the deepest part of your soul. My mind is mine. It doesn't need force. It doesn't need volume. It needs sincerity. A whisper enters where declarations cannot. A whisper slips through the guard of doubt and plants itself deeper than logic. Then, in that stillness, choose one thought you want to live inside today. One sentence. Not 10. Not a list. Just one. Something like, I think like the person I am becoming. Or, I command my mind today. Or simply, this is not an affirmation. It is an identity cue. You are not trying to convince yourself. You are reminding yourself of what is already possible. Once the whisper is planted, you must give your brain evidence. Identity is never formed by words alone, only by action. So you perform one small assignment. Just one. Maybe you write one sentence in a journal about who you want to be. Maybe you read 2 pages of a book that feeds your mind. Maybe you sit in silence for 60 seconds and simply watch your thoughts pass like clouds. Maybe you decide one thing you will not think about today and notice when it tries to return. It is not the size of the action that matters. It is the consistency. A ritual is powerful because it is repeated, not because it is dramatic. A single workout will not change your body. A single morning will not change your life. But a year of whispered identity. A year of 1-minute assignments. A year of not surrendering your first thoughts. That will make you unrecognizable. Rewiring is not only a morning act. Nighttime matters just as much, because when your head hits the pillow, your subconscious becomes the gardener. It sorts, stores, and grows whatever seeds you gave it during the day. That means you must end your day with closure. If you fall asleep replaying mistakes, arguments, regrets, or what-ifs, you train your brain to wake tomorrow weaker. So before bed, pause even for 10 seconds. Place a hand on your chest. Feel it rise. And softly tell yourself, today is complete. I do not carry it into tomorrow. Then one final whisper short, clean and powerful I am becoming. This is how you end the day without reopening doors that were meant to close. In the beginning, you will feel resistance. Your mind will bargain with you. It will say, "This is silly. It's not working. You're tired. Skip tonight. Start next week." That voice is not failure. It is proof you are rewiring. Because the moment the old identity senses it is being replaced, it fights. Do not argue with it. Do not try to prove anything. Just notice the voice and return to the ritual. Rewiring is not glamorous. It is repetitive. It is quiet. It is invisible, like a mountain being shaped by the slow persistence of wind. But slow is undefeated. People underestimate what tiny, consistent acts can do. 10 pages a day is 3,650 pages a year. 60 seconds of silence a day is 365 minutes of self-awareness. One whispered identity every morning is 365 chances to become someone new. Most people want transformation without repetition. They want change without a ritual. They want a new life, while waking up exactly the same way. But you today are choosing differently, because you now understand your life is not changed by force, luck, or waiting. It is changed by rhythm, by continuity, by the person you choose to be every sunrise and every night before sleep. This is the beginning of your new mental architecture. Tomorrow, when your feet touch the floor, you will no longer be the person who wakes up and hands their mind away. You will wake and claim your crown. My mind is mine. Say it quietly. Say it slowly. Say it until it feels like truth, because soon it will be. There is a weight most people carry silently, invisibly, endlessly. Not on their backs, but in their minds. It is the past. Memories, regrets, mistakes, things you wish you said, things you wish you didn't do. Moments you replay over and over, as if repetition could rewrite them. But here is the truth. Holding the past is the heaviest form of self-punishment. because you are forcing yourself to live twice, once when it happened, and again every time you replay it. You cannot change what has already happened, no matter how much you think about it, no matter how deeply you analyze it, no matter how long you punish yourself for it. It is done. The past cannot follow you unless you keep turning around and dragging it forward. Most people are not trapped by what happened. They are trapped by the story they keep telling themselves about it. When you say, "I failed, so I am a failure. I was hurt, so I am unlovable. I wasted time, so I am behind. I made mistakes, so I can't change." You are not describing reality, you are creating it. Because identity is shaped not by the event, but by the meaning you assign to it. Two people can experience the same pain. One turns it into armor. The other turns it into a cage. Which one are you going to be? The world will not decide that for you. Only you can. Your past is a teacher, not a prison. But you must decide that class is over. Imagine your mind as a room. On the floor, stones scattered, each one representing a regret, a failure, a memory you refuse to release. Some of you are trying to run into your future while dragging those stones tied to your ankles. No wonder you feel slow. No wonder progress feels impossible. Transformation is not just about what you add to your life. It is also about what you finally drop. Let me tell you a quiet truth. You are not the person who made those mistakes. You are the person who learned from them. The version of you who acted back then didn't know what you know now. They didn't have the strength you've been building. They didn't have the awareness you're gaining. They were doing the best they could with what they had in that moment. Growth means you outgrow your past self. So why would you let someone you've already surpassed continue to hold you hostage? Forgiveness is not about saying, "It didn't matter." It is about saying, "It no longer owns me." Forgiveness is a quiet cutting of energetic cords. Close your eyes. Imagine the moment that haunts you as if it were a scene frozen in time, miles away. Now imagine a cord, a thin thread connecting that moment to your chest. Take a breath, and in your mind, gently cut it. You do not erase the memory. You release the attachment, and in that moment, the stone drops. The weight loosens. The room grows lighter. You are not abandoning who you were. You are honoring who you are becoming. There is a difference between remembering the past and reliving it. Remembering is wisdom. Reliving is torture. Every time your mind tries to take you back, notice it. Name it. But do not kneel to it. When the thought arrives, don't fight it. Don't argue. Don't drown in it. Simply say inwardly, that chapter is closed. Your brain listens to closure. It does not know a moment is over until you tell it so. Some of you have been living with emotional tabs left open like a computer overwhelmed with too many windows. Each regret, each memory, each mistake running in the background, draining mental energy, stealing clarity. It is time to press close. Not because it didn't matter, but because you matter more. Do you realize something? Your future cannot begin until your past ends. And endings don't happen by accident. They happen by decision. Right here. Right now, you have permission to stop looking back. Stop trying to fix a version of you that no longer exists. Stop punishing a person you no longer are. Stop living as if yesterday is more important than tomorrow. Let the past do its job. Its job was to shape you, not to own you. There will be days when memories pull you back, when guilt resurfaces, when shame knocks at your door, when your brain whispers, remember. In those moments, breathe, stand tall, and answer softly. Seriously, I am here now. Presence breaks the spell of memory. The past cannot live in a mind that is fully in the present. So breathe again, slow, in and out, because this breath, this exact moment, is the only place where change is possible. Not in yesterday, not in the story, not in the replay. Here is where you free yourself, not by force, not by erasing, not by forgetting, but by finally choosing, I will not give my future to a moment that is already gone. You are not what happened to you. You are what you do next. This is the moment you begin. There is a silent thief that robs people long before failure ever reaches them. A thief that steals confidence, steals energy, steals joy, sometimes without a single word spoken. That thief is comparison. You see it everywhere, scrolling on your phone, watching someone else's highlight reel, listening to what they've achieved. And somewhere inside your mind, a quiet voice whispers, "You're behind. You should be further by now. Everyone else is winning, except you." Comparison lowers your frequency almost instantly. It takes a mind that could have been strong, focused, powerful, and collapses it inward. Understand, this comparison is not just a thought, it is a vibration. When you compare, your attention shifts outward. You disconnect from yourself, from your path, from your purpose, and you begin aligning with someone else's timeline. A timeline that was never meant to be yours. No two souls live the same life. No two seeds bloom at the same pace. Some trees need one season to grow. Others take 10 years before they even break the soil. But when they rise tall. You are not behind. You are growing at a rhythm nature designed only for you. Imagine this. You stand at the base of a mountain. Call it your destiny. Ahead of you is the path you must take. But instead of walking, instead of climbing, instead of taking even one step, you stop, you turn your head, you stare at someone else on another mountain, someone further ahead, someone moving faster, someone who seems already victorious. And while you're watching them, your feet stay still. Your mountain waits. Your destiny waits. Comparison doesn't just drain energy, it freezes it. Most people fail. Not because they are incapable, but because they stopped climbing to look at someone else. Let me offer you a different way of seeing it. When you feel jealousy, envy, or the sting of comparison, what you are actually seeing is a mirror reflecting your potential. You do not envy what is impossible for you. You only respond emotionally to what is already inside you, waiting to be awakened. Comparison becomes poison only when you use someone else's growth as evidence that you are less. But it becomes fuel when you use it as proof that more is possible. So ask yourself right now, when I see others win, what does it activate in me? Does it make me shrink? Or does it remind me of who I could become? Your identity shifts with that answer. Your identity is not formed by what others have, but by what you choose to focus on inside of you. Let's return to the idea of vibration. Because comparison is not just mental, it is energetic. Every time you compare, your frequency drops into lack, into doubt, into scarcity. You stop resonating with your future and begin vibrating with your fears. High achievers, on the other hand, don't waste energy looking left or right. They look inward. They go silent. They align. Alignment is when your mind, your attention, your actions face the same direction. You cannot move forward while looking sideways. So, today, I want to give you an image, one that will stay with you every time comparison appears. Picture yourself walking a tightrope thin, narrow, suspended between two cliffs. Below the noise of the world, the voices, the opinions, the timelines. You take one step and your balance is yours. But the moment you look away, even for a second, toward someone else, toward their rope, their progress, their life, you lose balance. You fall not because you were weak, but because you lost focus. Attention is your balance. Attention is your power. Attention is your life force. Where it goes, you go. This is why comparison is so dangerous. It steals attention. And here is the beautiful part: you can take that attention back anytime you choose. Whenever you feel comparison rising, when the voice whispers, "Why not me?" pause. Do not fight it. Do not judge it. Simply redirect it inward. Ask yourself quietly, what can I do today that aligns me more with the future I want? And then do that. Even if it's one step, even if it's small, even if no one sees. Because your mountain does not require witnesses, only movement. Comparison will always exist, but it does not have to control you. People online will always seem ahead, but the screen never shows the nights they doubted themselves, the failures they survived, the storms they endured in silence. You are not behind, you are becoming. And becoming takes time. Let this settle in your heart. Your only competition is the version of you you were yesterday. If you grew even a little, you are winning. If you learned even one lesson, you are winning. If you showed up today and didn't quit, you are winning. Let me leave you with this image so you never forget. Picture a garden full of different flowers: roses, sunflowers, orchids, tulips. None of them look at the others and say, "Why am I not like you?" They simply bloom when it is their time. You will too. Your job is not to bloom fastest. Your job is to bloom fully. So breathe. Turn inward. Step forward. Your destiny is waiting not on their path, but on your own. Your identity is the invisible script your life obeys. Every decision you make, every habit you repeat, every risk you avoid, every dream you allow yourself to imagine, all of it is controlled by one thing: who you believe you are. If you believe you're someone who always messes up, you will, even when success is within reach. If you believe you're not the kind of person who wins, life will keep proving that belief true. If you quietly label yourself as weak, small, unworthy, or destined to repeat the past, your world will shape itself to match that identity. Identity is not who you are, it is who you have agreed to be. And the world taught you, but now you will choose. Close your eyes and imagine standing in front of a quiet mirror. Not a glass mirror, but a mirror of memory. A mirror that reflects every belief you've carried until now. You see labels you never chose, words that were placed on you by tired teachers, unhealed parents, jealous friends, and moments that hurt. Lazy, not enough, difficult, sensitive, failure, too late, one by one. These labels attach like stickers to the reflection in front of you. Pause here. Notice something powerful. Those words are on you, but they are not of you. They were given, not chosen. And anything given can be removed. Imagine now your hand lifting slow, gentle, and peeling the first label off your reflection. Maybe it says not good enough. It peels easily because it was never true. Then another failure. It curls, collapses, falls to the floor. Then too late. Then weak. Then not like them. Stripped of labels. Your reflection looks different. Not empty, but open. Ready. Waiting for a new identity to emerge. Identity is a frequency, a vibration your thoughts broadcast into the world. Whatever identity you believe, you begin to embody. Whatever you embody, you begin to attract. And whatever you attract slowly becomes your reality. Your identity is the origin point of every result you will ever experience. So ask yourself, quietly, honestly, who am I when I remove the past? Who am I without the mistakes, without the judgment, without the comparison, without the noise? If the old identity was built by accident, the new one, you will build with intention. Imagine a blank page, and imagine writing just one sentence at the top, I am becoming. Because identity is not something you discover. Identity is something you decide. Rebuilding yourself is not about force. It is about remembering who you were before the world told you who you must be. Take a slow breath. Now whisper inside your mind, only I release who I was. I allow who I am becoming. Feel it. Let it settle in your nervous system like a seed finding soil. Identity rebuilding happens through small, sacred acts of self-confirmation. Every time you speak to yourself with respect, identity rewrites. Every time you keep a promise you made in private, identity rewrites. Every time you do something the old you would avoid, identity rewrites. Every small act of strength becomes a brick in the foundation of the new you. Tonight, see your transformation not as a sudden explosion, but as a soft unfolding. A flower does not apologize for blooming slowly. Neither should you. The strongest identity is not loud, not dramatic, not screaming its power. The strongest identity is simply lived. It is seen in the way you wake up when no one watches, in the way you honor your energy without guilt, in the way you speak to yourself before the world speaks first. Rebuilding identity is a metaphysical act. You are not just changing habits, you are shifting timelines. You are not just becoming better, you are becoming aligned. Identity is not about who you want to be someday. Identity is who you show up as right now. Say it to yourself in silence. I am the kind of person who follows through. I am the kind of person who moves with intention. I am the kind of person who does not abandon myself. And slowly thought becomes belief. Belief becomes identity. Identity becomes destiny. Before this chapter closes, place your hand on your heart, physically, and simply breathe. Feel warmth, Feel pulse. Feel aliveness. That is proof you are not finished. Proof you are still becoming. Proof that life is asking you to rise one level higher. Identity is the permission you give yourself to evolve. Tonight, you rewrite it, not by force, but by choosing, and tomorrow, you will live as the one you chose to be. Most people believe their thoughts control their emotions. But the truth, the deeper truth, is this: your emotions control your thoughts. When fear rises, your mind searches for danger. When shame appears, your mind hunts for evidence. When doubt whispers, your mind becomes a courtroom built against you. Emotions are not visitors, they are architects. They quietly design the world you think you see. So, if you want to kill negative thinking, you must first learn to hold the reins of emotion, not by suppressing what you feel, not by forcing yourself to be positive, not by pretending that nothing hurts. Real emotional power is the ability to pause before you respond. The pause is a throne. It is the seat of your self-governance. It is the moment where your life splits into two paths: the old version of you, who reacts, and the new version of you, who chooses. Imagine someone says something that cuts you. Imagine a disappointment that hits when you least expect it. Imagine a moment where every cell in your body wants to defend, explain, collapse, or strike. Most people react instantly. Instant reaction is emotional autopilot, and autopilot belongs to your history, not your future. When you react without pause, it is not you speaking, it is your wounds, your fear, your memory. The pause is the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. Before emotions speak, you breathe. Before you reply, you feel. Before you act, you choose. That is emotional power. Try something with me now. Inhale slowly, softly, into your belly. Hold, just for 2 seconds, enough time for your nervous system to know you are the one in control. And then exhale. Longer than the inhale, letting your body hear the message, I am safe. That one breath, that tiny pause, is a sword that cuts through chaos. Negative thinking is rarely a thinking problem. It is an emotional storm flooding the brain. Fear activates survival. Survival activates urgency. Urgency blocks clarity. No one thinks clearly while drowning. Before you change a thought, you must calm the water. The pause is not weakness. It is strategy. Warriors do not swing every time fear appears. Kings do not speak every time they are provoked. People who govern themselves win. Between the trigger and the reaction, there is space. In that space lives all of your power. When someone disrespects you, when insecurity whispers, when life surprises you, you pause, you breathe, you feel, and only then you choose. Emotional maturity is not, I never feel anything. Emotional maturity is, I choose how I respond, no matter what I feel. Your body remembers what your mind tries to ignore. Your shoulders store the words you never said. Your chest holds the emotions you never let move. Your jaw clenches around the truths you never spoke. Pause is permission. Breath is release. Emotion is energy in motion, and energy that moves will not become a prison. Tonight, place your hand gently on your chest. Feel your heartbeat steady. Present. Alive. Whisper out loud or quietly inside. I feel, but I decide. Say it again. Slower. Let it sink. I feel, but I decide. Without pause. Anger becomes destruction. Fear becomes avoidance. Shame becomes self-sabotage. Doubt becomes paralysis. With pause. Anger becomes a boundary. Fear becomes a signal. Shame becomes a teacher. Doubt becomes a doorway. Pause is not passive. Pause is power. The version of you who reacts instantly belongs to the past. The version of you who pauses, breathes, and responds belongs to the future. Feel everything. React to nothing. Choose with intention. As this chapter closes, feel your breath deepen. Let silence soften your chest. Let stillness spread through your body like warm water. And whisper one last time, slowly. Like a new vow, I no longer react, I respond. I no longer drown, I breathe. I no longer surrender power, I claim it. This is emotional mastery. This is the foundation of killing negative thinking. This is you taking back control. Your mind may shape your thoughts, but your energy shapes your life. We do not think in isolation. We think inside an atmosphere, and that atmosphere is created by the people we allow near us, the spaces we stay in, and the energy we silently absorb. Some people walk into your life like sunlight warming you, helping you grow, reminding you that you are capable. Others arrive like winter cold, draining, taking leaves off your branches until you forget you were once a tree full of life. There is a truth most people refuse to look at. Your success is not only about what you do, but about who surrounds you while you do it. Think about someone who drains you. Someone whose presence makes your chest tighten, whose words leave a fog in your mind, who makes you question yourself. Notice how your nervous system reacts before your mind even forms a sentence. Your energy knows before you speak. Your energy field, that subtle, invisible layer of self, is not imaginary. It is the place where your attention, emotions, identity, and subconscious meet. It is sacred. It is finite. And it needs protection. Most people lose their power not because they lack talent, discipline, or strategy, but because they leak energy. They say yes to conversations that make them smaller. They over-explain themselves to people who already decided not to understand. They chase validation from those who cannot love them. They try to make room in their future for people who only belonged in their past. And slowly, quietly, they shrink. Not externally, but internally, in voice, in spirit, in possibility. Protecting your energy is not about isolation. It is about selection, choosing who gets access, choosing what gets your time, choosing what is allowed to touch your inner world. Tonight, imagine a circle around your body, a soft, glowing boundary, warm, white light, expanding gently around you like a sphere. This circle represents your life, your emotional space, your mind, your future. Inside that circle, only things aligned with your strongest identity may enter. Outside stays noise, ego, chaos, pressure, and people who drain instead of fuel. When someone speaks to you, watch not just their words, but the way your energy responds. Do you feel taller or smaller? Do you expand or collapse? Do you feel seen or invisible? People either give you wings or steal your air. For years, you may have learned to tolerate energy theft, to stay silent while others drained you, to pretend you were fine while slowly dying inside, to be strong in the saddest way, strong enough to endure what never should have been endured. But now, you are waking up. Awareness is rising. You are learning that energy is currency. And if you spend it on the wrong things, let me tell you something powerful. Sometimes, the most spiritual, self-loving, life-altering act you will ever take is simply walking away. Walking away from gossip. Walking away from emotional parasites. Walking away from people who only love the old version of you, the one who didn't know how to say no. Your energy becomes expensive when you realize it is limited. Not everyone deserves a ticket to your life. Not everyone gets to sit in the front row of your evolution. Some people are only meant to watch from a distance, or not at all. You owe no one constant access. Not even those who once helped you. Not even those with shared history. History does not guarantee a future. Listen closely. Loyalty is beautiful, but loyalty without boundaries is self-destruction. If someone consistently drains you, makes you doubt yourself, mocks your growth, or pulls you back into old patterns, they are not a part of your future. Leave kindly. Leave quietly. Leave without explanation. You do not need permission to protect yourself. Sometimes protecting your energy means silence. Not as a weapon, but as a shield. You stop explaining. You stop defending. You stop trying to convince. You simply decide, my peace matters more. And that is enough. Imagine again your circle, this sacred glowing boundary. Imagine yourself standing tall at the center. Anything inside the circle supports your strongest identity discipline. Silence, alignment, clarity, future. Anything outside may exist, but it may not touch you. If you practice this daily imagining, breathing, choosing something life-changing will begin to happen. Your energy will return. You will think clearer. Your decisions will become bolder. Your dreams will feel possible again because you finally have space for them. You are not tired because life is hard. You are tired because you are carrying what is not yours. Put it down, give it back, and step into the circle clean, empty, ready. This chapter is not only about protecting energy, it is about reclaiming it. Feel your breath now slow, deep. Place one hand on your heart, one on your belly, and whisper to yourself, my energy is sacred. Not everyone gets access. I choose who enters my circle. I protect my future by protecting my energy. You are becoming someone new, someone who no longer sacrifices themselves for comfort, approval, or habit. You are choosing what most never choose, to guard your inner world as if your destiny depends on it. Because it does. There is a kind of discipline that is louder than motivation, deeper than inspiration, and more permanent than intention. It is the discipline of movement, the simple, powerful act of continuing. moving even slowly but never stopping. For years, you may have believed success was about speed, about how fast you can build, how quickly you can improve, how rapidly your life could change. But growth does not follow speed. Growth follows consistency. Imagine standing at the foot of a mountain, a massive, fog-covered peak stretching into clouds you cannot see through. At the base, it looks impossible, intimidating, overwhelming. But there is a secret whispered only by those who have reached the top. No one climbs a mountain in one leap, but many fail because they refuse to take the first step. Your mind will try to convince you that if you cannot move fast, it is not worth moving at all. Negative thinking feeds this belief. It whispers, "What's the point if progress is so small? Why bother if others are ahead? Why try when it's already too late?" Those whispers are lies. Because life is not won by speed, it is won by movement. Picture yourself placing one foot forward on a narrow trail. The ground is uneven. The air is thin. The fog is heavy. You cannot see the peak, but you can see the next step. And that is enough. Movement is not about sprinting. Movement is about staying in motion. Even 1 inch forward is forward. Even one quiet action changes identity. Even one decision shifts reality. Most people never reach their mountain because they stop at the discomfort of the climb. They start strong, emotional, excited, burning with motivation, and then the first obstacle arrives. The air becomes cold. The path becomes steep. Their legs shake. Their doubt grows. And they stop. Not because they couldn't keep going, but because they expected growth to feel good. Here is the truth. Very few people are willing to say out loud, movement, at first, feels like loss. Loss of comfort. Loss of certainty. Loss of who you used to be. Because every step forward kills a version of you that stayed still. To embrace movement, you must accept that progress is uncomfortable, and discomfort is not a sign to stop. It is a sign you are entering a new layer of yourself. Imagine climbing now higher. The fog begins to lift. You see a little more. Not the full view, just a clearer path. Your body warms. Your breath steadies. Your mind shifts from, "Can I do this?" to, "This is who I am now." Discipline of movement is not a habit, it is a lifestyle. It is a silent agreement you make with yourself. I do not stop. Not when you're tired. Not when you're scared. Not when nothing seems to be changing. Not even when no one is watching. Especially when no one is watching. It is easy to act strong when eyes are on you. But the mountain is climbed in the shadows, in the hours no one sees. The days when you force yourself to take one step, even when your mind tries to convince you to stay still. Those are the days identity is forged. Movement is spiritual. Movement is emotional. Movement is metaphysical. Because every step forward tells the universe something about who you are. When you act even while doubting, you declare, "I am worthy of arrival." When you show up even when tired, you communicate, "I choose my future over my feelings." When you move even slowly, you whisper to yourself, "I will not abandon me." That whisper becomes identity. Identity becomes outcome. Let's return to our mountain metaphor. Imagine pausing halfway through, exhausted, ready to collapse. Your body begs to stop. Your mind screams to turn around. But then you look back. You see the trail below you, the distance you already climbed, the impossible you already survived. Most people never notice how far they've come because they only stare at how far they still must go. Progress is invisible while you are inside it. The discipline of movement teaches you to celebrate the unseen, because the unseen is where transformation brews. Now imagine breathing deep, feeling the strength in your legs, not because they never trembled, but because they kept going. You take another step, then another. Slow, deliberate, sacred. Then the fog thins. The wind stills. You reach a ridge you never knew existed. For the first time you can see a view. Maybe not the summit, but enough to change you. Enough to show you that every step mattered. Here is the cinematic truth of movement. You will never feel ready. You will never feel strong enough. You will never feel fully confident before you begin. You become ready by moving. You become strong through motion. You become confident through repetition. Discipline is not rigid. Discipline is rhythm. A daily quiet cadence, one breath, one step, one small action, taken again and again and again. This is how mountains are climbed. This is how lives are rebuilt. This is how negative thinking is killed, not through willpower alone, but through motion. Because thoughts cannot defeat someone who refuses to stop. That is why movement is sacred. It is a prayer, a declaration, a weapon. 1 inch forward is enough as long as you never stop. So now, picture yourself back on the mountain, standing tall, hands on your knees, sweat dripping, heart pounding, and you whisper, not loud. Not dramatic, but with quiet conviction, I keep going. Say it once more. I keep going. And through that sentence, you rise. Because your body may be tired, but your destiny is hungry. If your mind is the operating system of your life, then your daily rituals are the code that rewrites that system. Negative thinking is not just a random storm of thoughts. It is a pattern, a loop, a program that became automatic because it was repeated silently, unconsciously, for years. That means you cannot kill negative thinking simply by wanting it to disappear. You kill it by replacing the loop, by feeding the mind new material, new stories, new beliefs, until the old ones no longer have power. Rewiring is not a moment. Rewiring is a ritual. Think about your brain as a path through a forest. A thought repeated once is a footprint. Repeated daily becomes a trail. Repeated for years becomes a road your mind walks automatically, even when you don't want it to. To change your life, you must build a new road. And roads are built brick by brick, ritual by ritual. Tonight, you are going to learn the most powerful mental conditioning rituals, not dramatic, not loud, not extreme, but simple, quiet, repeatable. Because the greatest transformations happen in silence. Ritual 1. The morning reset. Before the world touches your mind, you must choose who gets access to it. Imagine waking up, and instead of opening your phone, which drags you into comparison, chaos, and noise, you open a blank page. Your breath, your mind, your day. 1 minute of stillness. One question whispered internally. Who am I choosing to be today? Not what will happen, not what others think, but who you choose to be. Identity before action. Say it to yourself softly, like you're speaking to your future. I choose clarity. I choose patience. I choose power. I choose myself. This is the mental reset, a way of telling your subconscious who is in control. Without this ritual, the world chooses your thoughts for you. With this ritual, you choose. Ritual 2, the thought filter throughout your day. Thoughts arise, some empowering, some destructive. The average person absorbs every thought as truth. But you, from today forward, will filter. A thought enters. You pause for 1 second and silently ask, does this thought serve me? If the answer is no, you do not argue with it. You do not negotiate. You do not fight. You release. Because you do not owe every thought your attention. Here is a secret most never learn. Your power is not in thinking positively. Your power is in knowing which thoughts deserve your energy. Some thoughts are seeds. Some thoughts are weeds. Your job is not to water both. Ritual 3, the quiet correction. Negative thinking cannot be killed by force. If you fight a thought directly, it often grows stronger. The subconscious does not understand force, it understands replacement. So, when a negative thought appears, you do not battle it. You redirect. Example, the mind whispers, I can't handle this. Your quiet correction is, I can handle 1 step. The mind whispers, I'm behind. Your reply is, I'm moving. The mind whispers, what if I fail? Your reply becomes, I learn. Or I rise. Notice these are not dramatic affirmations. They are slow, believable, grounded. Your mind accepts what feels real. Ritual 4, the night debrief. Most people end their days with regret and replay. They lie in bed thinking of mistakes, failures, things they should have said or done. That is how negative thinking becomes even stronger overnight. Tonight you will change that. Before sleep, whisper to yourself 1 simple question. What did I do right today? Do not let your brain search for what is missing. Let it search for what is working. Even if the day was messy, you can always say, I showed up. I tried. I am still here. Celebration, even when small, is an antidote to mental decay. Ritual 5. The identity anchor. Your identity controls your actions more than motivation ever will. So choose 1 sentence, short, sacred, that defines who you are becoming. Not who you were. Not who others believe. But who you decide. Example anchors. I am someone who keeps going. I am someone who returns to myself. I am someone who controls my attention. I am someone who grows. Quietly. You whisper this anchor when you rise. You whisper it when doubt appears. You whisper it when silence surrounds you at night. It does not need to be loud. Identity is built in whispers. Why rituals work? Your subconscious mind does not change through logic. It changes through repetition. Emotion builds momentum, but ritual builds reality. Every time you repeat a quiet habit, you prove something to yourself. And proof changes identity. A person who reads 1 page daily becomes someone who reads. A person who breathes before reacting becomes someone who is in control. A person who moves even slowly becomes someone who does not stop. Do you notice the theme? The ritual matters less than the identity it builds. Because negative thinking is not just a habit, It is an identity you unconsciously accepted, and the only way to kill it is to become someone who no longer relates to it. Slow practice, fast results. You do not need to perform these rituals perfectly. You do not need to transform overnight. You simply need to begin, and begin quietly. Imagine yourself tomorrow morning breathing slowly, choosing your identity before the world speaks. Imagine yourself during the day filtering thoughts, choosing which deserve your energy. Imagine yourself at night acknowledging what went right, instead of feeding regret. This is not loud transformation. This is cellular transformation, identity transformation, unseen but unstoppable. And one day, weeks or months from now, you will suddenly notice your reactions are calmer. Your mind is quieter. Your path feels clearer. Your identity feels stronger. You didn't kill negative thinking in one dramatic moment. You starved it. You stopped feeding it attention. You built a mind that no longer has space for it. That is the true power of mental conditioning. You don't fight the darkness. You build so much light that darkness has nowhere left to live. There is a moment in life that does not look grand. It is not loud. It does not come with applause or witnesses. Yet it is the very moment that rewrites a destiny. That moment is a decision. A single, quiet decision that takes place deep inside the mind, where no one else sees it, where no one else can validate it, where only you can feel its weight. And tonight, we step into that moment together. Because killing negative thinking, breaking the mental patterns that have chained you for years, is not just about discipline or motivation. It is about deciding who you will be, not who you were, not who the world shaped you to be, but who you choose to become from this breath forward. Close your eyes and imagine a thin line drawn on the floor. Behind that line is everything you are leaving behind: the voice that said you are not enough, the fears that convinced you to wait, the doubts that stopped you from acting, the identity you accepted because you were too tired to question it. Ahead of the line is a life that has always been waiting for you, a mind that serves you instead of betraying you, a body that wakes with purpose instead of hesitation, a heart that beats with self-trust instead of apology. And between these two worlds, the only thing that separates them is not time, not luck, not circumstance, but a decision. Your life up until now was shaped by decisions you never realized you were making. The decision to believe negative thoughts, the decision to compare, the decision to stay silent when you should have spoken, the decision to shrink when you could have expanded. Every day, your mind has been casting silent votes for the person you became. And tonight, you reclaim that power. Tonight, you cast a new vote. Tonight, you choose. Feel this slowly. Identity is a choice. You are not born weak or strong, confident or insecure, worthy or unworthy. You learned those labels. Someone gave them to you. You repeated them. And eventually, they felt like truth. But they were never truth. They were repetition. They were a story. And stories can be rewritten. Your identity, who you believe you are, is the compass for every action you take, every risk you avoid, every dream you allow yourself to pursue. Change the identity, and your entire life bends. Tonight, without force, without pressure, Simply allow yourself to imagine the strongest version of you. Not perfect, not fearless, not loud, but steady, quiet, certain. A person who moves slowly, deliberately, knowing that nothing outside can threaten what is built within. Picture how they wake up. They do not snooze. They rise. Picture how they think. They breathe before reacting. Picture how they walk. Shoulders neutral. Breathing calm. Mind clear. That version of you is not a fantasy. That version is already inside you, buried under habits and stories that no longer fit. A decision is the shovel that uncovers it. You do not need permission to choose differently. You do not need someone to tell you that you are ready. Readiness is not a feeling, readiness is a decision. Most people wait. They wait for motivation. They wait for clarity. They wait for timing. They wait until life forces them to change. And because they wait, years pass. Dreams rot. Potential dissolves. But you are different. You are here, listening, breathing, aware. Awareness is the invitation. Decision is the doorway. Tonight, you walk through. Breathe slowly. No rush. The strongest transformations are built in silence. Tonight, you choose to stop negotiating with your old self. Tonight, you choose to stop entertaining the voice that sabotaged your future. Tonight, you choose to act as the version of you who already succeeded. Because identity is not built by thinking, it is built by behaving. If you decide that you are disciplined, then the next action you take will reflect discipline. If you decide that you are strong, then when doubt appears, you will breathe and remain still instead of collapsing. If you decide that you are worthy, then you will no longer chase validation. Decision is not about saying it. Decision is about embodying it. In this silence, feel your old patterns, trying to pull you back. But what if I fail? But what if I can't? But what if I'm not ready? Understand this gently. Those thoughts are ghosts. They are echoes from a mind you are no longer choosing. Let them pass like clouds. Your power is not in resisting them. Your power is in no longer believing them. What you believe becomes what you live. Tonight, you believe something new. Say this quietly in your mind, as if carving it into your subconscious. I decide. It does not need to be dramatic. It simply needs to be true. I decide to think differently. I decide to show up differently. I decide to honor my future more than my fear. I decide to become who I was meant to be. Feel the air in your lungs responding to those words, as if your body already knows this choice is the one it has been waiting for. Destiny is not something you find. Destiny is something you choose. And then you choose again, and again, and again, each morning, each night, each moment when you are alone with your mind. A decision is not a one-time spark. It is a quiet flame you feed, and soon it becomes who you are. Breathe in. Feel the old world leaving your body. Breathe out. Feel the new one forming. Tonight, with a soft but unwavering voice inside your own mind, you cross the line. You step into your strongest identity. You do not need proof. You do not need applause. Because the moment you decide, the transformation has already begun. This is where the journey of this video reaches silence, but where your journey truly begins. Because nothing changes simply by listening. Your life will not transform because of my voice. It will transform because of what you decide to do when this video ends. In a few moments, you will return to your world, to the people and the noise, to the habits and thoughts that have shaped you for years. And this is where your new identity will be tested. Not here where everything feels clear, but out there where life is loud again. And tonight, I invite you to choose differently. Before you stand up, before you move, before you speak, sit with this truth. You are now aware. The old patterns can no longer hide in the dark. You have seen the battlefield inside your mind. You have felt the weight of your inner voice. And awareness is a weapon you cannot unsee. So, use it. Use it tomorrow morning when your mind tells you to postpone. Use it when self-doubt tries to drag you back into the past. Use it when fear whispers that you should play small. Every time you pause, every time you breathe, every time you choose the identity you decided tonight, you win. You do not need intensity. You do not need perfection. You simply need consistency. One small action each day repeated shapes a life. When you wake up, decide one thing that your old self would never do, and then do it. It does not have to be big. It only needs to be chosen. Read one page. Take one breath before reacting. Move your body for 5 minutes. Write one thought you want to keep. Protect your energy from one draining person. These are not tasks. These are declarations. Each time you act, you are sending a message into the universe. This is who I am now. And now, before you leave, I want you to anchor this transformation with intention. Place your hand on your chest. Breathe slowly. And whisper inside your mind, I am becoming. Not I will. Not someday. Just I am becoming. Because the future you want is already unfolding beneath your feet. You are not preparing, you are already in motion. If you want support on this journey, if you want your mind to be trained, rewired, and strengthened even while you sleep, this channel exists to hold that space for you. You are not alone in this. There are thousands of others choosing to think differently, rewiring their minds, building a new identity in silence, and together we rise. So, if you want more of this work, if you want more videos to guide you through discipline, mindset, wealth, identity, emotional power, make sure you are part of this community. Because change is easier when you are surrounded by others who choose growth. Before this video ends, I invite you to take 2 final steps, not for me, but for you. Comment below one sentence, a declaration of identity. It can be as simple as I choose my future. I am rebuilding my mind. I kill negative thinking. When you say it, you become it. Step 2. Stay close to the frequency. Click subscribe. Turn on notifications. Not as a casual act, but as a promise to yourself. A reminder that your mind matters. A reminder that you are done living on autopilot. A reminder that you choose. As this final moment arrives, allow yourself to leave, not with noise, but with stillness. Take one slow breath. And as you exhale, imagine the old world dissolving behind you. Your next chapter begins when this video ends, and you stand up as the person you decided to become. Thank you for listening. Now, go quietly, powerfully, and become.